our final poll question interactively here on stream. Again, you can go to heyjb.live to vote. Will there ever be justice for Gabby Petito? You can vote very simply yes or no. And I bring this up because in my initial report on the depositions, I'm going to read this. From my reporting, this is from WFLA.com. When asked if Brian's death allowed him to escape accountability, Joe Petito said Brian Laundrie took the quote-unquote coward's way out, preventing his family from getting justice. Quote, and by him dying, you were not able to get justice, is the question that he was asked as far as Joe Petito. Joe Petito responding, quote, there will be no justice for Gabby Petito, end quote. Another follow-up question to Joe. Does this lawsuit have anything to do with you seeking justice? Joe responds, this lawsuit is to get a sense, but no, it's really to hold people accountable for their actions and their choices, end quote.
When you lose a child, there's no justice when you lose a child. When you lose your life, there's no justice. There's absolutely no justice. Not even the death penalty.
Did justice elude the Petito and Schmidt family the moment that Brian Laundrie took his own life?
Absolutely. Well, no, I think it eluded them the moment he took her life. There's no justice. If Brian was in a jail cell today, prison cell, does it make them feel any better?
Is that justice? I'm asking you as a parent.
No.
It's not justice.
No, it's not.
What if it was a capital crime?
Look, that's my child, and Brian's not my child. My child's gone. Whether he gets the death penalty or not, there's no justice for Gabby Petito ever. There just isn't. Is there I think Joe hit the nail on the head. Accountability, 100%. Accountability is important. But what does justice mean? Justice to me does not. The Gabby Petito is still gone, and the moment she took her last breath, there was no chance for justice for her, no matter what happens. And maybe I have a different definition of justice. I look at it as fairness. It's just not fair, when somebody loses their life. I don't care what happens to the other person.
Justice means, that word means different things to different people. Team Brittany, one of our YouTube moderators, say here that losing a child equals losing your own life, and that's the opinion of one of our great YouTube moderators.
I totally agree with that. At least part of your life.
It's dense subject matter, no doubt.
Yeah.
And look, Joe Petito is of the opinion that there will never be justice for Gabby Petito. Now, let's pretend time to break up the moment here for a second, but let's just fast forward in time. Maybe we're hitting the fast forward button on this story. Let's say it does go to trial in May. The Laundries take the stand, and the Laundries are found to be guilty of intentional infliction of emotional distress, and have to pay some otherworldly sum of money to Gabby Petito's family, who then in turn take those funds, what they do receive, and spin that or redistribute that directly into the Gabby Petito Foundation. Now, I remember hearing Emily. Emily said that this case, if I remember I don't remember what context she mentioned this comment on, but she said that there's this would live in the world of appeals for so long.
That's true.
In that scenario, that there would be appeals launched left and right to delay any type of financial
punitive damages
going from one side to the other.
That's true.
And,
that's
Emily, feel free to clarify your comments. I know you're in our comment section. That would undoubtedly be, well,
if you need the money, if you want the money, then that's a problem. Because look, there's no way the Laundries are going to agree to some decision by a mediator and say, but you know what? Mr. You know what, Mr. and Mrs. Petito and Mr. the Schmitz, do you know what? You can go talk about this case as much as you want now. You can go out there and go, that's just not going to be part of it. There's just no way. And so with that in mind, I would think, again, taking them at their word, they want someone's feet held to the fire. They want accountability. They don't care about the appeals process at that point, right? Because they wouldn't even care at that point if it got overturned, because they got their day in court. They got their day in court to say, hey, these guys, and they did something wrong here. And I think I would like to say it's a message to another parent out there that would do the same thing, trying to protect their child, if that's what happened here. But I will say, if not justice, the fact that a large chunk of money could be put into this foundation, and there are plenty of foundations that don't do enough. I mean, they're out there and they get money, but I would suspect when, somebody will lean into a foundation like that, it could save lives. It could save somebody else's life by helping them get out of a dangerous situation, right? Isn't that what it would be about with the Gabby Petito Foundation? And there's definitely something close to justice there, where the death means something, saves other lives, helps other people get out of bad relationships. There's something to be said for that.
Patty's opinion, justice equals accountability and truth. In my opinion, the Petitos will never get that. The Laundries will never give them that. Okay. Let's see here. Emily's commenting back that IIED, so intentional infliction of emotional distress law in Florida, hasn't been used this way. Whatever happens, the Court of Appeals will be involved for years. I think Gabby's parents want and deserve answers. Hopefully they will get them right.
Very good point.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that, by the way. So
I think that Emily is what Emily is getting at with this comment is that the scenario that I laid forth, where the Laundries are defeated in court, the Petito and Schmidt side emerges victorious, and then by Christmas time there's a fat $1 million check going from one side to the other. That's just that scenario really doesn't exist because of the inevitability of appeals.
One of the coolest things about the law is it's a living thing. So what she points out there, if true, if it has not been used this way, well, now it's going to get used this way, and theoretically the higher courts could say, we're never using it this way again. We're tossing it. Or we're not tossing it. It eventually gets paid out. It comes to an end. Or, another scenario is you don't want to you want us to appeal this, or do you want to settle afterwards? The cat's already out of the bag. You got them on the stand or whatever. You got to ask your questions. You got your day in court. Let's avoid the appeals. Let's settle. You can settle after. Couldn't you? I don't know if that's true or not. I believe you could, though.
That's why having a legal expert is always great.
Can you settle a civil case? You get a jury decision. Could you then settle after?
I think you could settle at any point.
Right. Okay.
But once it's in the hands, once the judge has a jury decision, I believe really it's the court that of course is then in control of really the case itself. From that point, you have a jury's verdict. You have a decision that was rendered in your courtroom.
My favorite attorney, Google.
Well, I asked Google. We got Emily here, but
maybe she knows the answer to that.
Look, I want to close this poll and show everybody the result on screen. Will there ever be justice for Gabby Petito? And an even 75% of our audience say no. And agree with you, Walt, that no, there will. And agree with Joe Petito. Joe Petito is the reason we're asking this question.
Yeah,
he said point blank, there will never be justice for Gabby Petito in his view, and 75% of our audience agrees with him.